Is a tremendous fighter.
Right.
He's a tremendous fighter. The only people he cannot be happens to be myself, Gervonta Davis, and depression.
Ryan Garcia and Rolando Rolly Romero's fight is all everyone is talking about in the boxing world right now. These two have been going at it for years, trading insults on social media and in public, and now it looks like they will finally settle it in the ring. The bad blood between them is real, and fans can't wait to see them face off. The hype is huge, and this fight has been a long time coming.
Ryan situation, I see that's the most tension. Is there real beef there, or is it just you want to get ahead and you see him as a guy that you sparred a lot and you feel you should be in that position?
No, I want to chop that kid's head off.
Why?
If you've been following boxing, you know both Garcia and Romero have had their ups and downs. Ryan Garcia was once seen as the next big thing with his fast punches and growing fan base, but things didn't go as planned. His loss to Tank Davis in 2023 was a tough setback, and testing positive for banned substances led to a suspension, making things worse. Still, Garcia is trying to bounce back, and a fight against Rolly Romero could be his chance to prove he's still a real contender.
Like I said, at the end of it, he at 140, I'm at 140, and I have the belt, you have to come get the belt, and that's a fight that everybody been asking for forever, and all I know is that fight is the biggest fight in boxing right now, me and Ryan.
Rolly Romero's career took a hit after his tough loss to Tank Davis in 2022. He was once undefeated and held the WBA super lightweight title, but that changed after facing Tank. Since then, his form has been shaky, and many wonder if he can get back to his best. Now with his fight against Garcia coming up, Romero has a chance to prove he's not just a one-hit wonder. Both Garcia and Romero have their own struggles, but they both want this fight, and the fans are more than ready. Plus, the drama between them only makes things more exciting.
I mean, I hope he keeps training with Derek James. That shoulder roll, that's amazing. It was a good performance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he won.
Yeah.
He stopped Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a great performance. It was a good performance.
The history between Garcia and Romero is full of tension, and it's not just about fighting in the ring. They've traded insults, talked trash, and shown real emotion. Garcia has often criticized Romero's style and lack of skill, with his comments making headlines. But Romero isn't one to stay quiet. He's fired back, calling Garcia a pretty boy and saying he doesn't have the heart of a real fighter. This fight isn't just a regular match. It's a battle of pride with both men trying to prove they're the better fighter. Fans know this, and they're loving it. Since the fight was confirmed, social media has exploded with reactions. Some fans believe Garcia will dominate and get back to his winning ways, while others think Romero's power and toughness will be too much for him. Then there are those who doubt if either fighter can make a real comeback, wondering if this fight will be a disaster.
I don't know. He apologized for it. You guys think that's really an apology? I don't know. Y'all think he apologized for real? You think that actually means something? I mean, he did say something crazy. Bring somebody back from the dead and kill him again. Like, what? But you can say sorry about that, right? Can you say sorry about that?
Not everyone is quick to dismiss Rolly Romero in his upcoming fight against Ryan Garcia. Two-time 140-pound champion Regis Prograis has talked about how unpredictable this fight could be. While many believe Romero doesn't stand a chance, Prograis sees it differently. He points to a sparring session between Garcia and Romero in 2018, where Romero's wild fighting style seemed to surprise Garcia. Prograis believes this unpredictable style could catch Garcia off guard, even though it's not something you'd expect from someone who's seen many fighters. Prograis says that during sparring, Romero wasn't just throwing wild punches, he was landing them with surprising effectiveness. While sparring footage isn't the same as a real fight, Prograis believes it shows something in Romero's style that might be difficult for Garcia to handle. Sparring isn't always a clear picture of what happens in a real fight, but Prograis doesn't think it's completely irrelevant. He believes Romero's unorthodox style could be a real threat to Ryan, and in a sport where anything can happen, who's to say he's wrong?
Rolly Romero, Ryan Garcia would be an amazing fight. You know, me and Ryan sparred way back when. You know, we sparred twice, and there's always it's gonna be. I mean, that fight will sell out. I know that fight will sell out. That's one of those mega fights that me.
Let's be real. Rolly Romero is not exactly a proven threat at the top level. His career has been full of ups and downs, with inconsistent performances and questionable decisions. Even in his wins, there are clear flaws in his technique, and many believe he should have lost more fights. Look at his bouts against Ismael Barroso and Jackson Marines, both fights that some say he didn't win convincingly. If those had been losses, his record would be 14-4, which doesn't really scream world champion potential, does it?
Bring on Rolly. You know, he part of PBC. We already ran it once with PBC. I didn't get my get back. I'm going to beat Rolly, and we're going to have that. I just pray to God, try to see where he was guiding me. And it just led me to Dallas, led me to Derek, and I pursued it. And I'm here now, and I feel good. I feel, you know.
When Prograis talks about Rolly's wild style possibly giving Garcia trouble, it makes sense, but it's hard to give Rolly too much credit. Ryan Garcia isn't the same fighter he was 7 years ago when they sparred. He was just 19, still growing, and hadn't developed the strength and fight IQ he has now. Today, he's a more mature and powerful fighter, and it's tough to see Rolly's wild, aggressive style working against him. That kind of unorthodox approach might have had its moments in sparring, but at the elite level, it's risky. Rolly's lack of skill and technique has always been his biggest weakness, and against a fighter like Garcia, who has speed, power, and precision, those mistakes could cost him big time.
Rolly, Ryan Garcia said that he would give a shot to Rayo Valenzuela. What do you think about that fight if it happens?
Give a
Rayo. That's what he said.
Because with Ryan, it could be if you're talking about a shot at tequila.
Is he gonna chug that whole thing? All right.
Garcia's power is already proven to be devastating, and Rolly Romero's lack of defense is one of his biggest weaknesses. If Rolly thinks he can rush in and throw wild punches against someone with Garcia's timing and power, he's in for a rude awakening. Garcia has shown he can handle lesser competition, and Rolly's reckless approach will likely play right into his hands. Gargris may see a chance for an upset, but the reality is different. Garcia is much better now than he was in that sparring session, and Rolly's wildness might just get him knocked out in the real fight. One thing Prograis is right about, though, is that this fight will be unpredictable. Both fighters have the ability to land big punches, and both have weaknesses that could be exposed. But when it comes to skill and technique, Garcia has the edge. He's a more complete fighter and has faced higher-level competition. Rolly's path to success would have to come through pure chaos, hoping to land something big while Garcia makes a mistake. But if Garcia stays disciplined, uses his boxing skills, and doesn't get dragged into a wild fight, this could be over quickly. Garcia's biggest challenge might be his own complacency. His star power has been growing, and he might take someone like Rolly too lightly, thinking the victory is guaranteed. He's been training hard, and his focus seems sharp, but it's easy to get caught up in the hype. If Garcia underestimates Rolly, though, that's when things could get dangerous. But if Garcia stays focused and on his game, the result should be just what we expect, a knockout win for Ryan.
Fight Ryan Garcia has been entertaining. But I don't know, it's just the way he throws punches looks weird as shit.
What do you mean?
He throws these fucking hooks at like fucking 200 miles an hour and shit.
Some people say he leaves his chin up when he throws that hook.
Fucking hit him in the damn chin, shit.
Yeah, right.
I don't really see anybody else.
When Prograis talks about a Garcia-Haney rematch, he doesn't hesitate to say that he favors Garcia. He believes that if Garcia can get past Rolly Romero, a rematch with Devin Haney is likely. Prograis points out that Garcia showed his true greatness by winning their first fight, and if Haney gets another shot, he'll need to show that he's learned from his loss. Prograis doesn't believe Garcia's victory was a fluke or only possible because of Garcia's alleged use of performance-enhancing drugs. He's convinced that Garcia was simply the better fighter that night and that Haney's inability to take a hard punch was exposed. The clinching style Haney developed after his fight with Jorge Linares might have worked in some fights, but against Garcia, it became a liability. Every time Haney clinched, he left himself wide open for Garcia's short left hooks, and that was a fatal mistake. Prograis points out that if Haney wants to prove himself, he needs to win a potential rematch with Garcia. However, he's also realistic about Haney's weaknesses. Haney's whole strategy is built around his jab and clinch, and if you take that away, it's clear that he becomes more vulnerable. He doesn't have the same ability to take a punch as some of the other top fighters at 135L. Prograis makes it clear that without his clenching style to fall back on, Haney could get into serious trouble in a rematch. So when it comes to that potential fight, Prograis believes it's almost certain that Garcia will win again, no matter what happens in Haney's next fight.
See how he bounced back from it, so yeah.
Do you think he wins a rematch against Ryan Garcia? How do you think that fight would play out if they were to fight again with obviously no drugs involved this time?
I know he's strong mentally, so he can win for sure, but it all depends on how he's feeling after he gets back. Is he the same fighter? Let's see. We got to find out.
And as for Ryan, do you think he should be doing exhibition matches as he's tried to do since he can't fight professionally? Do you think...
Haney's upcoming fight against Jose Ramirez is another concern. Prograis believes that if Haney doesn't beat Ramirez, the Garcia-Haney rematch becomes less likely. Ramirez is a former world champion with a lot of power, and he could expose Haney's weaknesses even more. The result of that fight will say a lot about Haney's future, and if he loses, it could be the end of his title hopes at 140 pounds. Prograis's view makes sense. The fight between Haney and Ramirez is crucial. If Haney doesn't win, he could lose momentum, and the chance for a Garcia rematch may no longer matter. But even if Haney beats Ramirez, Prograis still thinks Garcia is the better fighter. He's convinced Garcia's skills and power will be too much for Haney, and the rematch will be just like their first fight. While some fans might still think Garcia only won because of his alleged drug use, Prograis is firm in his belief that Garcia is simply the better fighter. On the other hand, Oscar De La Hoya hasn't held back on his thoughts about Haney's career, especially the drama around his relationship with his father, Bill Haney. The Golden Boy Promotions president has been vocal, saying that Devin's career could be in a much better place if it weren't for the toxic influence of his father.
This clapback is dedicated to the worst manager in boxing history, Bill Haney. Bruh. Something we can all agree on.
Bruh.
I want to start by saying that I feel sorry for Devin Haney. We hardly ever hear him speak because his daddy does all the talking.
Bruh.
And it's cost him all 12 fans he had. Bruh. Sure, Devin had a...
De La Hoya doesn't hold back in his criticism, even saying that Bill Haney has done more damage to his son's career than any opponent ever could. He made sure to share his thoughts in his popular Clapback Thursdays video series, and it wasn't pretty for the Haneys. De La Hoya took a direct shot at Bill Haney, saying he felt sorry for Devin because his father does all the talking for him. According to De La Hoya, this lack of independence has hurt Devin's public image. He points out that Devon hardly speaks for himself and lets his dad control the narrative around his career. In De La Hoya's eyes, Devon could have easily bounced back after his loss to Ryan Garcia last April, but instead, Bill Haney made things worse.
And Oscar De La Hoya, everybody out. Gennady Golovkin sued you, and Ryan Garcia threatened to sue you, and I don't need to sit down with you about nothing. I see you doing a lot of tweeting, but you ain't speaking. Maybe you somewhere tweaking. The lawsuit stands.
The legendary boxer turned promoter insists that after Devin lost to Garcia, all he had to do was accept it, admit Garcia's victory, and move on. De La Hoya imagined Devin saying, "He beat me, I couldn't block his left hook." It sounded simple enough, but according to De La Hoya, that's not what happened. Instead of handling the loss maturely, Bill Haney decided to make a spectacle out of it. He filed lawsuits not only against Ryan Garcia, but also against Golden Boy Promotions and the New York Athletic Commission. Bill's actions made things unnecessarily complicated, turning a simple loss into a circus.
Guys are suing Ryan Garcia for battery?
Yes.
You do know your son Devin is a professional fighter, right?
Yes.
His livelihood is based on battering other opponents.
Yes.
This has to be the lamest claim I've ever seen in the 4 decades I've been involved in this sport. And now, Bill...
De La Hoya didn't hold back, calling the Haney camp's behavior a big mess-up. He argued that Devin could have easily recovered from the loss and focused on getting back into the ring to fix his mistakes. Instead, they dragged the situation out with legal battles and created unnecessary drama. He went on to say that Devin and Bill were making enemies, turning the boxing community against them with their antics. For De La Hoya, this wasn't just a simple loss, it was a huge opportunity for Devin to learn and grow as a fighter, but Bill Haney ruined it. De La Hoya suggests that Devin didn't need to waste time suing people or fighting for his loss to be erased from his record. He could have used that energy to train harder and work on the flaws that led to his defeat. But instead, it seemed like Bill Haney had his own agenda, which didn't benefit Devin in the long run.
You know, obviously, we have to deal with this frivolous lawsuit that they slapped on us, but that's all it is noise. That's all it is. How can you sue somebody that beat the crap out of you? You know, it's like, it just doesn't make sense. And
would you as a fighter ever even consider doing that back in your heyday?
No, what I would do is call that
The drama took another turn when De La Hoya pointed out that after all of this, the Haneys were in London begging for a payday with no other options left. De La Hoya claims that the only real value Devin has in the sport is to fight Ryan Garcia again, and this rematch has been what's keeping him in the public eye. But the catch, according to De La Hoya, is that the Haneys won't get a rematch unless they drop their lawsuits. It's a harsh ultimatum, but one De La Hoya is sticking to. He even took a jab at Bill Haney, calling him a pimp for using his son to chase after a payday from a rematch with Ryan Garcia, a fighter who had already handed them a humiliating defeat. De La Hoya painted the picture of Bill exploiting his son for another big paycheck, despite Devin suing Garcia after the loss. He couldn't believe the irony of it all and made sure to point that out. De La Hoya's point was simple. If they want a shot at redemption, they have to drop the lawsuits and move on.
Now, Oscar, who wants us to believe something else, he comes out and says this stupid shit about Poppy and all this other shit. But the people aren't stupid, man. You know what I mean? The people are not stupid in the sense of, Devin did the best that he could to ensure and to deliver the fight. The uncertainty that the fight presented was not.
The real kicker came when De La Hoya said he couldn't even make this up. He seemed genuinely baffled by the entire situation, saying that a boxer suing another boxer for battery was something he had never heard of before, and he's certain it won't happen again, unless Devin tries to sue his next opponent. This comment added to the growing frustration De La Hoya clearly feels toward the whole saga. As it stands, the proposed rematch between Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney could happen in October if both fighters get past their upcoming challenges. Garcia has to face Rolly Romero, and Haney has to go up against Jose Ramirez. If they clear those hurdles, boxing fans will likely get the showdown they've been waiting for. But even with the potential high-stakes rematch, De La Hoya isn't backing down from his stance. He's made it clear that Devin can't have another chance to fight Garcia unless they drop their lawsuit, and it seems like De La Hoya is holding the cards. The boxing world is watching closely, and it's clear that the drama between Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, and Bill Haney is far from over. While De La Hoya may be using this as an opportunity to push his own agenda and keep Golden Boy's name in the spotlight, it also highlights the growing tension in the sport. Fans are torn on who's right, who's wrong, and whether the Haneys are doing the right thing by trying to get a rematch in court instead of just getting back in the ring. All right, that's all for today. What do you think about everything we just uncovered? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I love reading what you all have to say. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more updates like this. Turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of the latest stories. Boxing Glory, signing off. Stay safe, stay informed, and I'll catch you in the next one.